Hello, and welcome back to Pullman Field here as tonight we're going to have semifinal action of the 2025 Beloit Kubb Open. So a while back we had the finals of this, so we thought we'd come back. The first half of the live stream on Kuban Facebook page was the semifinals, so we are going to cut that up here and show that. That match will be getting here shortly, as you can see what we got going on. We've got a couple of the other teams here. That the infield is right here, and the pitcher's mound is just off to the left-hand side here, where they are taking some photos and giving out some trophies for some of the consolation brackets that are going on. As you can see, Lars and myself in the background warming up here for that match that's coming up. We get some of those players that are trying to get in there for their pictures. Steve and Chad and Lars and I are getting ready to get going. So we're having a little discussion. You can see me put my hands up like, hey, you just want to get going on this? See what's going to happen. So we have on the far side, number 1 seed, Do You Respect Wood? It's Lars Arneson and myself, Jesse Fraim, versus the number 4 seed, Friends of Dave. And that's Steve Dolan there on the blue on the left-hand side, and in the gray, Chad Stute. Both from Minnesota. So we're going to get this kind of going as we've got some of these other teams. In the foreground, you'll kind of see the king toss we're getting ready to do here. And there'll be a few players in the way, but that's all right. So lining up for the king toss behind all these players here. And I remember correctly, there was a little confusion. We're both not super close. Steve thinks he won, and I'm walking up thinking, I think I won. So they're discussing, should we go first or side? Then Chad sees me glancing in, and he's looking on, and we can't see it at all. But then we start looking there and go, oh, you know what? That's closer than we think. So Steve gets out his handy-dandy baton, and we start doing a little measure job here to figure out who's actually closer. And by just a little bit, I was actually closer. So we are still in that mode. Not a lot of wind. It's calmer than it's been all day. We're going to throw first. We still think throwing first has an advantage. And Chad and Steve are going to stay on that side. So they're going to stay going right to left. We're going left to right here. And like the parting of the Red Sea, the players move out of the way for the beginning of the match. We love it when that happens. To watch Lars and I go first here. Lars stepping up. And missing on his first one. So important in these early turns to try to get ahead, but so often it seemed like we were feast or famine. So we went 0 for 2, which happened to, you can see we flipped that baton. I'm not too happy about that. Happened a decent amount, but we were getting down. We were getting down in the match all day, it seemed like. There was a few times we'd go 1 for 2. Not very often we'd go 2 for 2 to start a match. It just seemed like we're always kind of giving the other team 4 batons, which is usually not a winning formula here. See these guys. Yeah, these guys will clear out before Chad's first shot. Looks like he got that one. Starts out strong with a nice 8-meter shot to begin. Ooh, looks like that one just went by. And we talked about in the last match, this is not the greatest of screenshots here to kind of see what's going on. Looks like Steve got that one. Ooh. And got 2 of them there, so we're going to pull up, like we did last time, a little magnifying glass. We're going to try to zoom in because this angle's not the greatest to kind of see what's going on. So we're going to try to give a little bit of a look here to see how these cubes hit and react. Once again, this was 100% in. Even with the magnification, you can't really see the sideline or the midline all that great, but it gives us a better look at it. And we're going to try to spend a little bit more time, turns that we can, of seeing how, what the players' body language are as they're defending, as they're trying to decide where to raise, and try to do a better job of kind of moving things around, letting you see different angles. So, there kind of missed our spot. I was trying to hit the corner and get all 3. Hits it straight on, gets 2. So that's going to cost an extra baton. So try to get it in 1. It's going to cost 2 batons. But we still have 4 left here. Already down 3, so we're already way behind, it would seem. Yeah, that one misses. Rotation seemed a little off there. That one looked a lot better. starts out 1 for 2 on this turn on his 8 meter. That one looked like it was just over. You see kind of bend at the knees as he was hoping that would drop down and knock her head, hit the top, knock it over, but it does not. Ooh, chops it down, kind of hits the ground, knocks it over. We've seen, you know, I did that a couple of times. Usually try to hit it, you know, square on, but there it kind of hits it off to the side, knocks it over. Down is down. So Chad's going to have 5 of these to throw in. We're going to try to magnify as best we can. Still, you know, not the greatest of angles here, trying to look. First 2 bounced and stayed right along that sideline. These last 2 kind of further out. So it comes to, so there's our first 2 out. Looks like they might, yeah, they're both, Lart's going to pick them up, not even test them. So those are out. So you've got a group of 3 here that Chad should be able to put them right in there. Put them in a good position to take a commanding lead. Kind of steps back there. Ooh, kind of stuck there. I think he was hoping it would hit and bounce over somewhat similar to that one. That one kind of hit and stayed out there. We'll see. Lars and them would say, and Jerry would say, it's bad camera awareness, and I have Lars as a teammate blocking up. I bend over and block that camera view there. So we sped that up so you just don't stare at my backside the whole time. Chad's thinking about coming down the line here. I think we take away the magnifying glass here and try to give you a look at what he's looking at here, and then we'll pop that back up as baton is in the air and kind of get an idea of how he approaches that. Oh, yeah. See, he got 3. What he was looking for. He's going to step down here. You know, he's hoping to get all 5 there. He got the 3 he was looking for. Ooh. Baton rotation just off slightly, and it grounded in front and goes by without getting anything. He's going to do that same shot again. Ooh, bad luck. He's not happy about that. Just got the 1. Stevie in there. Yep. Nice hit on that. She's still got 2. Still way ahead. Yep. You know, not as much damage as I think they were hoping to get, but anytime you can get an additional cube off the baseline, you're happy to do it there. And I think Chad was kind of looking at an opportunity, stepping down the line there, hopefully to try to end it right there. As it is, we're still going to have a lot of cubes in play here. I think we're going to have up to 6 in play. So they got 1 on their baseline still to knock down. We got 3 more. That one really cut on Jesse. I think he might have at least 1 rethrow, but it's hard to tell where that first. It looks like they're all going to be in. We're going to see them. They're going to spread out as wide as they can make the pile first with those 2. Then try to figure out what else they need to do here. Test now, you often see people put their fists down like that to kind of give an idea of visually how far apart they're going to be. Try to figure out how we can spread this to use as many batons as possible. Yep, and so we'll kind of speed it up to kind of see how they finished up there. So there's, you know, it's kind of wide, but there's some action there. Yeah, see, I think he was hoping to get that one on our left as well, so that's going to eat up a whole nother baton. He's hoping to clear out that whole left side, then come back after the right. Clears out that. He's still going to have the one on the left. And the premature squirrel there, so Lars is going to have to try to clear this last field and go after that back line, so definitely a missed opportunity there from Jesse. Nice little punch. Cube just kind of spun out. It didn't really have a lot of momentum to go back. 2 8 meters left for Lars here. Really needing both to get him in position. Ooh, that one was right on, but just grounded in front and bounced out. Oh, just to the right. Kind of felt like he needed both of those here to put a lot of pressure. I mean, this is still regardless, even if you got +2 there. Around it, you feel like Friends of Dave can put it away with a good group. So especially, I felt like Chad felt like that last turn, even though they got +1, was a turn that they could finish it. I don't think he's going to have, what he felt was a lackluster blasting effort 2 turns in a row. I feel this is going to be one really good pile, and he's going to be super motivated to get that knocked down and give Steve a chance to end this, especially with a +0, nothing happening there. That group by Jesse Shirley didn't look like a 4-baton pile, but that's what happens sometimes. Things go awry off plan there. So this has got to be the turn that they could, let's put it away. He's got a nice pile. Ooh. Landed that kind of far out to the left, but it did move and kind of go right into the right spot he was looking for. His last turn, that rethrow, the first rethrow kind of stuck and stayed out there. This time it did exactly what he wanted, and that's a juicy looking pile. So we'll kind of do that again. We'll give you an idea of where Chad's looking, what's he looking at down that line. And then we'll throw that magnifier back up as baton comes in into frame here. Oh, yes. Got a bunch there. Got a little bit of cleanup duty left. Yep. Nice clear. So we've got 3 for Steve, plus Chad still has 1, needing just the last 8 meter to put it away. Okay, yep. And so we're going to blow that up. Let's get a better look at this now. Oh my goodness. Those are, those, Steve's a little wondering what's he got to do. Those look so good. Oh my goodness. So that one hit short. You couldn't believe it. Let's leave that magnifier up and see what Chad can do here. Steve making a fighting gesture there. That the cubes were fighting back or something there. Got it. Yep. So those are those turns. I think they did the right thing. They gave Steve 3 shots at it. You think it was 3 batons. He's gonna get one of the 3. But whenever that happens, when they go over and then Chad hits that, you're like, oh, why didn't we change it out? Why didn't we just have Chad go again? Still think it was a good strategy. Lars and Jesse still have 3 fields to get. So you gotta think we gotta throw this in there where we can get it with 1 or 2 sticks here to give us what we need. You got to get it in 2 mathematically to have a chance here. You're going to need 3 batons for the back line, 1 for the king. So you got to get this in 2 and then be perfect from then on out to win here. So this is going to be your Hail Mary. No point in trying to be safe. And it looks like, in this turn, I was able to, they're testing a few things, try to see. There's a lot of them laid against that sideline. A lot of the problems with my piles is the cubes themselves. Sometimes with the way that I cut my cubes, there's a lot of movement with them. They end up being more what I call east-west. They're more sideways, which means they can be raised up towards the king and spread out further. Where you see players like Trevor Bailey, like Adam Holtz, like Greg Jacobson, who their cubes are north-south. They when they're raised apart, they're behind each other. There's a lot less space between them. So even though this looks good on the ground, as they start to come up, you'll see, those orange ones off to the right are going to be considerably more towards the king because of the way that they were laying on the ground. So you're going to have a situation here where, it's doable for 2, but it's not as simple as blowing up a Trevor Bailey or Adam Holtz pile here. Let's see what I can do here. That looks super strange. We're going to do a little blow up here, instant replay of what happened. Baton rotates, actually hits the ground behind it, and comes back and just clips 2 of them. It's like he landed it perfectly just past the cubes. The back end of the cube or stick comes down and clops the top of 2, and you don't get really any. So he's got to get all the rest of them here. And he got some collateral damage there, but definitely not enough to clear this in 2. So there's no way to win it this turn, and then just gets 1 there, and there's a lot of junk on the way here for Lars. So now we're looking at, okay, can't win this turn unless you get some kind of crazy field double-see, and that hits the junk and stays there. So really disastrous turn of events here from, almost got the squirrel. He wanted the squirrel on that one. But man, you went from looking at that pile on the ground and thinking, okay, maybe you can get this in 2, to it taking 5 to clear that pile. You get the +1, but you're thinking, okay, you really need disaster on Chad here. You need 1, potentially 2 penalties or punishments, depending on where in the country you are and what you call them, to even give us a chance. So let's see how much Chad really wants to risk this, and how safe he goes with any rethrows. A good driller doesn't really matter here. You're gonna stay on what you've been doing. You're gonna go with the same approach, the same throw. No reason to change it. Doesn't matter that you're baseline clear. You're just trying to throw them all back in there again. But we'll see what happens on the rethrows, because it looks like this is a great pile. But when you have this much movement and this much laying across those the mid lines and the sidelines, you're gonna have some rethrows. So it looks like there's one. That front one, when you have them all in the same area, I think what we were discussing this one is there was one that was going to shunt. That front one was going to shunt against another one, and we were all just agreeing, and instead of trying to raise 2 or 3 things to see if it was going to be short, we all agreed that we believed it would be short, and Chad agreed to rethrow that one too. So we've got 2 rethrows. He's going to take a little bit extra time to collect himself. He doesn't have to be super aggressive. They're way ahead. Yep, and you can see he puts that one out there. 2 turns ago, it stayed out there. Last turn, it moved behind the pile. Now, both of them, I know he's not real happy with that, both of them kind of stay out there. So, if that can cost 2 additional batons, maybe Do You Respect Wood gets another turn. But even with that, you've got 7 in play or 8 in play, because baseline clear, Fraim and Lars still have 2. So there's 8 in play. Even the 2 that bounced out and stayed off to our left and Chad's left are close together. That should take 1 baton. So you're still looking at this thinking, okay, unless you have a couple skips overs, split out the middle of a pile, this should still be easily doable for them. Yeah. And so there, he cut out the whole right side of the pile. He's got the two coops off to the left and another group still there, but still well within reason here. Yep. Nice hit there. I'm sure he wishes that they would have gotten everything down on that right side with 2 batons. Talking with Steve, you're gonna have leftover cubes, and you're gonna talk to that other partner who's not used to having to fire at 4-meter shots and say, okay, what are you comfortable with? What do you want to hit? Do you want that last one? Do you want to go now? Steve comes in now and manages to get just the front one from that double. Oh my goodness, and look at that trick shot. It was looking like potentially it was going to take 2 batons to clear that last one. He had 2 left. Didn't look like he could get both in one, and yet Steve gets it in one and puts him in a real good position to win game 1. So, Friends of Dave win game 1, and, it's pretty much all tournament long in the playoffs. Lars and Jesse lost game 1. They lost game 1 in the first round. They almost lost game 2 or game 1 in the second round as well. Keepers of the Kubb were red zone plus batons, and we got lucky that they didn't put us away there. Then we're in the semifinals. We're down another game. This is par for the course. So at least this isn't. This is something that we've had to overcome in the past. So at least we have that going for us. But game 2 now, we look at Chad and Steve, and they have the advantage of going first. Can really put us in a bad position. And that one crashes out early. Chad's upset about that effort. And Steve's does the same. So 0 for 2 to start, which was the same result in game 1. I think they went 3 for 4 on their return. We're going to throw up a magnifier, try to give us a better look. That one's super solid by myself there. So 1 for 1. Ooh, I'm not happy about that. You want to give yourself a chance, get it there in the air, or just short, but that was super short. Didn't even give my baton a chance to do anything. Lars just by on the right side. And misses again. Yeah, he's not sure. That's a couple turns in a row where they've been just off to the side. Rotation looks pretty good. You know, the length looks pretty good. It's just off to the right. Just off to the right for a couple turns in a row. So now, first round with 6 batons. They only have one. Gonna go with the just over the baseline shot here. Some people will put it mid or a little bit long and try to give a better chance at double. They're up a game, no reason to take unnecessary chances. And he gets it. Gets the first one. And he gets on streaks with this. Oh. Misses the second. Misses the third, but those were super close on both of those shots. Almost looked like he might have even tickled them when they stayed up. So they get, Lars and Jesse get super lucky there. That one's just by on the right. So far, we're getting lucky here. They're not putting a stranglehold on this match like they did in game 1. Got ahead of us and stayed ahead. And they miss again. So Chad has his head on his hand, or his hands on his head, and knows that that's a lost opportunity. But we got to take advantage here. We got to really, really get going on this. We got 2 cubes in play. Both teams have one off each other's baseline, and we've been talking for a couple turns in a row about switching. You know, Lars is right there. He's not missing a lot, but when he's missing, he's just off to the right. So sometimes I find it advantageous to put him in the blaster, have him hit some stuff. For sure, hit some stuff. Nice hit with that. And he's a blaster on his team. Got to remember, on Ragnarok, he's the primary blaster. He's been pressed in the 8-meter roll, but I'm a blaster too. So we change up the rules here. I already had one from previous round. I get that one there. 2 for 2. Looking like a genius. Let's switch up these rolls. Let's make me the 8-meter guy. And 3 for 3. Got a turkey there. And Lars still has one. Can we ask for 4 for 4? Is that too much to ask? That's a huge +4. See? That's what I'm never afraid to move rolls around. There's obviously a time and a place to keep things the same and to move it. We just kind of felt like, hey, let's move you into blasting. Let's have you do that for a turn. Get you back into hitting stuff. Get in the mode of those batons attacking things, and it works perfection. You know, obviously I go 0 for 3 on 8-meter. I look like a complete idiot for suggesting it and then not hitting anything. So put some extra pressure on myself to change those rolls. You got to hit those shots. And, to go +3 and then Lars pick up one is just epic turn there by us. So puts us in the driver's seats, puts a lot of pressure on Chad and Steve here. Looks, oh, he's got you got a photographer taking some video or some photos of him retossing this. Some added pressure here. Ooh, so that one kind of rolls out but stays in bounds. We're behind the main pile, so it could be, it could have been worse if it stuck out there towards the king. For sure cost you an extra baton. Tucked behind there, it looks like it could go either way, forward or back. They'll probably put it back just to give it more room. But the guys here, Jesse and Lars, will take a look at it and determine. You see me stepping back there. It's a common thing with Kubb racing, trying to identify where they're going to go. See, I'm telling Chad, I said, you're going to go from the side, aren't you? So that's why we kind of went forward with it, thinking if he goes from where he's currently at, you see Chad in the gray there, down in that corner. If we went back with that one, it makes it where if he goes from that corner, he can get all the ones in the front. So I kind of identified that he probably would go from the corner, so we raised it towards the team to keep it away from that other front line, to make it potentially harder if he goes from there. And we're kind of going from the idea, okay, he is going to go from across the pitch. What's the best way to kind of set these up to give him one shot at it? This is his shot, his baton to clear all of them in one. You got to get an idea from this view of what he's looking at. And he got a lot of what he was looking for. We protected that front one by putting it towards, up closer to them to keep it from that explosion, but he's got 2 along the baseline. Got a nice front face to hit it off of. Yeah, and super good hit there. And he almost got a baseline as well. That would have been epic to get a field double into a baseline. And Steve just feeds off positivity. He sees them clearing 2. He gets that one. Oh my goodness, that one stood. But let's watch it again here. He hits it. It goes almost 45, comes back up and sits. And that's just terrible luck there. But when he has a good thing happen on that first baton, you think he's going to go 3 for 3. He has that terrible luck on the second baton, wipes up all the positivity he had, and then misses on the third baton. Super unlucky there by Steve. Chad still has one. And he misses. So, gosh, what could have been... Chad's always so animated with his body language during a Kubb match there. You could tell that started super positive. You know, you don't think that you're going to go +5, but you think, let's do our own +4, and you really put pressure on Jesse and Lars to win it next turn and not let us get back into it. So now we're baseline clear, Lars and myself, and we're back into that same mindset that we were talking about when this was Chad in game 1. You know, you're going to do the same approach with your first throws, do what you've been doing. This is the first time Jesse's had more than one Kubb on this side, though. He hasn't had a lot of practice with what the conditions are, but it looks like he's got a good group lined up there again. How aggressive does he go with the rethrow? Whew. I think that's in. It turns out very aggressive with the rethrow. He kind of went longer than the pile, and it rolled behind the pile and along the sideline, very close to rolling right out. You know, often I will try to go with those and clang it right into the side. I'm going to go aggressive with the angle and with the spin of the Kubb. I'm planning to clank it right into the chunkiest part of that pile, to keep that be like a rim or a backboard to keep it in. Looks like I kind of missed my spot long and got lucky that it didn't fly out the right hand side. So these look fairly lined up. We're going to keep that magnifier up so we can kind of get an idea to get a baseline clear. Just need to get this cleared in 5 to get out of game 2 with a win here. Ooh, bounces early, takes out 1. I guess that's better than none. Okay, second baton hits that front one, but there's still a lot of work here. Okay, that's a good clear. It looks like we've got a couple still left to go. Put Lars in a much better spot there. That was looking pretty dangerous there. Yep, he gets that clear. And once again, Lars kind of has that. He likes to be offset a little further down the line, give a little angle. The king looks a little bigger, a little sideways action there. More surface area for you to hit, and gets that king shot. So we're all tied at 1 game apiece. And kind of following, as you can see from the finals, it was very similar. They were down a game, had a very quick game 2. Get right into game 3 with a lot of momentum. This is kind of following that same script here, where can they get into game 3 and get some positive momentum? One thing we have swinging back in our favor is we're starting game 3, winner take all. We're going to have the first 2 batons. Can we finally take advantage? Because so often it seems like we go 0 for 2 to start a game and play from behind the entire time. So let's see. I don't even remember what we do the first turn. I think we get 1, but let's see what happens. I flipped that baton again. I get so angry when I miss that first shot. I always feel like that's the tone setter, that first shot of the match. When I can hit it, it seems like so often my teammate gets one. Then we go 0 for 2. So game 1, we started 0 for 2. They went 3 for 4, got ahead of us and stayed ahead of us. Game 3, we go 0 for 2. Chad and Steve with their 4 baton return. We're going to pull up that magnifier again, give a good look at what these batons are doing, where any misses might be. That's just off to the right. Rotation looks good. It's just off to the right on the first one. So what kind does he make an adjustment here? Ooh, looks like rotation was a little off. Didn't finish that shot quite, and it had just kind of hit in front. Rotation wasn't a friend there. That one was off too. Steve very rarely goes after the same one each time, so I keep moving around the magnifier. That one's over. So we get incredibly lucky. 0 for 4. Now we're back into the old school 6 baton start, which most people, if you've been around Kubb for long enough, they may not realize if you're newer, that this is the way it was. It used to be 6 batons started the match. If you hit all 5, you couldn't throw at the king till your second turn. So we have, dropped that baton. That's embarrassing. So 1 hit, 1 miss. Third baton, get it. 2 for 3, definitely take that. 2 Kubb lead is a big lead so right now, the way that the momentum's shifting in this. That one just missed by Lars off to the right. Once again, kind of just missing to the right. Just to the right again. Yeah, he's going to take 1 step to the left, try to correct that a little bit. And that's a great correction. Gets that one. You know, you can tell by his body language he's not too happy. Now this, okay, so I'm pointing, and I think you see me point a few times. It was a full moon this night, and we had storms in the area, cloud cover a lot of the time, but now the full moon's rising over the horizon, and we're talking about me and Matt being wolves, being, branches with wolves is our normal team name, that we were howling at the moon there, so we're taking a little howl break at the rising full moon. So that's what I was pointing at over on the other sideline. But now, 3 Kubb ground. Testing that one, it's on the sideline. We've got 2 right against the sideline. Chad needs to put it right back in there, but not get himself a penalty. Big rethrow in this turn, get it back in. And that one's safely right alongside it. It's not too far away. It's a north-south Kubb. It doesn't look very east-west, so it should raise alongside, give him a chance to clear in 1. Really looking at, can we be very efficient with our batons? So you're in game 3. A lot of negativities happened as far as not getting the efficiency you would have wanted. You don't want to snowball it, because in Kubb, that negativity grows way quicker than positivity. Positivity from turn to turn is great, gives you a lot of confidence to play off each other's skill. When bad things happen, it seems to snowball much faster. So this is a critical turn here to get into it. Chad loves stepping down the line. You can already see him moving down there. He's like, okay, let's get all 3 of these in 1. Give us 5 baseline shots. Try to get right back into this. Got all 3. Perfect. What a clutch shot. So, can't ask for more. You give yourself and your 8-meter guy 3 batons. Just misses to the left. And to the left again. Chad stepping up here. Knows how critical it is to add a few here. That one hits just short. So we're getting a run here of missed 8-meter shots. Trying to buck that trend, get back in the positive column. That was just, yeah, look at his body language. That one's just long as well. That one misses as well. So it's just not like Steve and Chad. You might see them go colder on a turn, but this is multiple turns now. So if you're me, you're thinking, we got to put this away. We got to get these guys out of here, because if we continue to let them stay in this match, they are going to get hot. It's only a matter of time. We're already kind of up against the laws here, that the averages, that this is going to correct itself. So we got to get out of this quickly if you're me. It looks like we're still going to have Lars blasting. Looks like Lars is getting in position here to try to blast and keep me in the 8s. Looks like 2 of the 3 of these will line up pretty good. The one on the left might be off on its own. The one on the right looks like, if you're Lars, you're hoping they both come back. That gives you a little bit of angle. Maybe even step over towards where Jesse is, get all 3 in 1. If that front one goes forward and the back one comes back, obviously it's going to make it, we know that back one's going to go back and the front one's going to come forward. So it gives you, you can get a little bit of angle like Lars is doing. Maybe you can get the double with the baton with the purple and push one of the purple into the orange. You get all 3 up. So similar to that, I think that wasn't the double he necessarily was looking for, but it's the double he got, and it works well. Oh, nice takeout there. So put that baton or the cube would go back a little bit more. But we are in drop. I caught the baton, so I didn't drop it. Gosh, I'm having trouble this match with keeping my batons in my hand. Gets the first one. Can we close out here? So critical. Try to close them out now. Now it's just by to the left. Got it. Oh, with emphasis. You see how far back I knocked that? Hey, there's Matt Green with the fist pump. And the congratulations. Lars still has one left for the king, and we get out of it with a Game 3 win. Obviously, Steve and Chad felt like, they let some opportunities go by in the 8-meter game, but you got to give it to myself and Lars for coming back from a Game 1 loss and really, in flipping the rolls, that's not easy to just flip rolls, and that really worked for us. I've always been a streaky 8-meter player. There are times where I get super cold with my 8-meter game, and when I'm hot, give me those batons, we'll ride it. A super last 8-meter shot there. See how low and hard that was thrown. It made solid impact and flew it out of the screenshot. So that's a great 8-meter shot to end that. And some positive momentum here to go against Flux Capacitors in the final. See Joe Deacon there coming up. He's just like J.R. Horatia, where they want to get their practice in. So it's less than a minute after the semifinals is over, and he's looking for cubes and batons to get throwing. I love it. Love to see him out there practicing, grinding, and getting ready. I know that they've won a couple of tournaments from this one. I know they won the WHYS tournament. They just won Cube on a Stick. It's always fun when, that would have been, I think, 3 tournaments in a row for Joe if they would have beaten us in the finals. Nice when you beat someone, that they just want to win too, and when you beat them, for them to have success thereafter is really fun to see. But we kind of broke up a potential 3-tournament run from Flux there, so getting ready to go. So if you haven't seen the finals, go ahead, go to our Kuban page, watch the finals. It's available there. Thanks for joining us for the semifinals. Bazinga.